but maybe I'm guilty of poisoning the well as well by suggesting that our only response is an anemic one. If you understand the power dynamic and your martial strategy is in place, and when I say martial strategy, I mean you look at it as somebody who is like in a war and you're capable of making an accurate assessment. These are the threats, these are the targets, these are my weapons, these are my allies, this is my fallback point, this is what could possibly happen if I do this, this, and this. And you've made an assessment that you're actually in a pretty strong position.
Now, this is a giant lead. This is saying you have to know the danger. You have to know your strengths. You have to know the territory. And then what can you do? Then you have options. But if you're just watching a bunch of YouTube videos in a bunker at home, you don't know the enemy. You don't know your strengths. You aren't here yet. So it takes a bit of work to get to this spot.
Don't let the person off. Don't let some arsehole get away with it. You also have the option, if you're in a weak position, to get to a stronger position and then return fire.
This is a hard sell. You can move. A lot of codependents don't know how to move. They're sitting ducks in front of the danger. And I say, just move sideways. Pivot. Don't be a sitting duck. But you have to know where you are first. You have to get your fucking head out of the sand. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, SJ.
But you can. Don't let them fucking get away with it because of some implicit anemic, like, just go your own way, or it's the spiritual thing to do. I'm of the opinion that sometimes the most spiritual thing to do, dependent on the context, would go right the way through the full scale of confrontation to physical violence. I am happy to, and have, laid the headbutt on people who were narcissistic psychopaths. But the power dynamic was such that they weren't my boss. There was no dire consequence to me other than a fight, a scrap. And so the power dynamic was such that I could do it. Maybe we do need to be careful about leaning too hard into super careful arse covering strategies. I actually don't really use Grey Rock, to be honest with you.
He doesn't use Grey Rock. And I think no contact is a stupid strategy. But that's a future meeting.
Rude. Yeah,
that'll take a whole meeting to cover why no contact is. You guys do it stupid because it's only a retreat move. It's not a strategy.
What about
incomplete?
There's no winning.
I get it.
You can't win with that.
Do you include Grey Rock with that?
Grey Rock is
variation.
He doesn't use it because I use Grey Rock with deception. He also lies. So if you're just Grey Rocking of no response, when you can lie and guide the person away from you, that's better than Grey Rock. Oh, Miranda's back. We thought we scared her. Yeah.
Hey.
And welcome, Iman.
Hey,
welcome
SJ. Back, Miranda. This is a tough group, but hang in.
No, we're not tough. We're glad you're here.
We all love new people.
Do I have to give up my status as the victim?
No. Over.
No, you can advocate if you want today. We need someone to play victim.
In perpetuity.
I'm going to punish the victim today. So whoever wants to play victim,
not going to
invite. But I will take all my energy of deception and lying to pull out the victim, expose your neck, and then cut as many holes in your neck until you bleed to death right in front of us.
Here.
Isn't it better just to no contact? Because you'll never win with these people. There's no fighting because
there is fighting. You have to know their weak spots. That's Act 3.
You can't avoid every narcissist in the world. That's the point.
So we're ahead. So let's stay on this then.
I use something
what does he do?
Lying. I lie to get rid of narcissists.
I've shared this before, but a lot of codependents look at this and they're stupid or they don't understand. he says he lies to get rid of narcissists. Why is this hard to get? Deception. That's essentially the artwork of the meetup.
That's really a
win through deception.
meaty way of doing it. I mean, you're not facing the issue head on. You're deceiving and then backing away from. I mean, I do the same thing, but I don't think it's very, it's not very laudable. It's just.
Okay, why isn't it laudable? This is a Western thing. In Asian culture, if you can lose or lie and then still win as far as getting what you want, it's okay to lie, it's okay to lose if you get what you want.
And you're dealing with a narcissist, so you have to be artful. You can't just be human, because you're not dealing with a fully formed human being.
But I think there's a level of integrity. There's a level of being yourself, being honest, not bending around any axis that you have to just to get away. You can just say the truth and walk away.
This isn't about getting away. It's making them leave.
Yeah, but
Making them leave instead of codependents constantly running away and changing countries, changing phone numbers, changing everything.
we've all been burned by lying to a narcissist. Why would we want to perpetuate the cycle?
Okay, let's finish the video and I'll give you a different framing. Because you're getting caught up with just deception. And okay, maybe it's a hard sell, but let's finish this.
Or open confrontation. I'd say
You don't have to lie. You can do this.
I have said that in recent history to a diagnosed narcissist. You're a cunt and I won't have anything else to do with you. Now, fuck off, mate. And that was the end of that. Can also can.
Okay, now, if you dive into YouTube and you're listening to experts on narcissism, and they have no experience confronting a narcissist, and they're going to give you advice based on no life experience. So you listen to me, and why should you listen to me? So here's an example of me calling out a narcissist. I don't have the video of it because this is after party. And I have the technology. But
I like myself too much. I like how I am.
I like myself.
So this is Jason, a friend of Steph from April, if anybody was around.
I think was I around?
No,
I
you were at
wasn't.
that edge.
No,
So
I wasn't.
this was a narcissist that was a customer of hers or some client or something, I don't know. And then he jumped into our after party. And he opened up by saying he likes who he is. So he's aware that he's sort of a narcissist. Oh, it stopped playing. See, he broke it. Play. Stream. Oh.
I like myself too much. I like how I am.
I like myself too much.
So what's the question?
Okay, the question is, give me a diagnosis. We've been talking for like 45 minutes, Shadar.
I just told you. So I was patient. We talked back and forth. I let him try to hook me. I even gave him bait. Or he baited me and I took it and I amplified. Then he couldn't find anything.
Okay, I told you
You're blind empathically. You have no idea what's going on in other people's heads.
What's your goal?
So I'm calling out his lack of empathy to his face.
What do you want?
Therefore you feel tons of guilt because you keep fucking up in the world.
What do you want?
fucking up in the world.
What answer do you want?
You have
I
a
don't
decent
know.
game, but you keep fucking up. You never get mastery. I'm saying he's a loser
So what
to his
answer
face,
do
and you keep trying, and you keep trying.
It's the
But
magic
you're so fucking blind.
of Asians.
You can't improve.
Yeah.
So then you have to go beat up on little kids so that you get a little win. But that's not satisfying.
No. I don't have any pleasure doing that. You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't, because you want to play the game, but you have to beat up on little kids to
What game?
the game.
The game keeps.
He was mentioning the game and game playing for the past 45 minutes. So it's within his language. I wasn't just making, I was trying to cater the insult straight into his heart. But even killing a narcissist, they still live because it's a false self. You can beat the shit out of their false self and they'll still live. We lost
That's
Dan,
right.
but he'll come back.
Talking about.
Yeah, I mercilessly,
Mercifully, what?
I mercilessly, harangue my narcissist. Mhm. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can pin him down. You can, but you're pinning down the false self. But this is also good because codependents want to get even.
Yeah.
So you keep wanting to get the narcissist to own up or see it. So this is me pinning down this narcissist. But if you're blind, compared to the players, the real players of the game, you have to beat up on little peons, little pawns.
Wow, man, you just ouch.
That's direct.
Yep.
What you're saying is all squiggly, quirly nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So the ouch, does that feel genuine? Or is
No.
that a fake ouch?
ouch.
No.
I hope no. I'm gonna ponder that right there. If I'm doing that, you know what I'm saying?
What, beating up on pawns?
Yeah,
What's wrong with beating up on pawns? It's an easy win.
but it doesn't.
See, I'm trying to give him some face like, oh, it's okay being a loser. It's okay that you get these wins. It's okay you're an addict and you want to get supply and you can't help it. I don't mind. Just stop fooling yourself.
I feel masculine.
It's not mastery, it's not satisfying, that's why you have to keep doing it. Yeah, I misheard. He says it's not masculine. I should have dumped into that and said, oh yeah, that's kind of girly. But I didn't, he wasn't on video, so I didn't hear properly. So I could have done better. It's torture. It's horrendous.
Not
Not gaming.
That's satisfying.
It's right. That's what his point is. It's not satisfying.
Right.
Now, Steph is still trying to get the narcissist to change. Narcissists don't change. You can't force them to speed up realization. They're stupid. They're blind. They're good at one thing. They're good at attacking you and they're good at gaslighting you. But they're stupid to reading reality. Look at Trump right now. The numbers say that he lost. He still wants to sue the crap out of the polls, but there's nothing to sue. It's not that close. But he's still fighting reality.
Right.
So
And you can't
that's
even-
not his point. Is
You can't even self-reflect on yourself. That's how blind you are. I say that narcissists can't reflect. I pointed out to this guy. He understands that he can, but he can't do anything about it because he can't reflect. You guys want to change a narcissist, get them to heal or whatnot. They can't reflect. They aren't wounded enough. They aren't willing. Because at the beginning of this talk, he said he likes himself. He still likes his narcissism. He
What do you-
doesn't want to change it.
What do you mean they can't reflect? Can you expand on that a little bit, just so I understand it more? Because
After the fact, so they have this interaction. And then they can go back and reflect on, like, oh, what happened? What could I have done better?
Well,
What did
there
I
was
do
no one
good?
there. Remember, there was no one there.
Yeah, see, that's why we say no self. But no self means you can't reflect.
So if they say that they have reflected, or if they act as though they did, like, oh, I know that I could have handled that better, blah, blah, blah. That's a lie. That's just acting.
No, that's their conception of things didn't quite go the way I wanted them to, so I got to up my game.
It would depend on if they can, what they're saying matches the behavior. Do they show evidence of being able to reflect and changing behavior? Or are they just annoyed that they lost? So they'll reflect on being a loser.
Right.
But that's not reflection. That's just impulsive, instinctive, something. 5:30 already.
Yeah, that's just self-centeredness.
Yes. So I'm calling out his lack of reflection, but then Steph is trying to force him to accept it. Then the other guy, I think it was John, he was also trying to get the narcissist to get it. But you don't have to do this. And they don't get it. We've given these pointers out in the past, but somehow it doesn't sink in. Codependents still want to fix or heal or change the narcissist. If they're not willing and they're not ready, and they like themselves, if it's working, being a narcissist, abusing others, whatever you want to frame it, they're not going to change.
They're just looking for the win.
So they're looking for the cheap win. So I reframed that as a cheap win here.
Right.
What's that? I'm sorry. Say that again. Yeah.
And he can't even get it. How unclear was I? He's like, I can't understand what you said. I don't know how to integrate it because he's stupid. But
You said
how much fun this is. You can't even digest this and self-reflect on yourself.
He has to interrupt me. He can't even take it in.
because they gaslight themselves. They're constantly dissociating, time distorting, rewriting their stories. They're distracted constantly. This enemy that you are building up as a giant, vicious bully is constantly distracted. They have brain damage.
You have to take it in. You have to, like...
You're so blind, you can't even understand this. This is where you're way beyond 25% retard.
Right.
Indeed.
It's not good.
That was funny.
What? Oh, now you want to rescue Jason? You want to soothe the narcissist? This is what happens in the group. This is what happened in this meeting.
Can we talk
People
about...
started trying to rescue Jason.
Can we talk about the use of the word retard?
Yeah, can you not say that again? I appreciate what I love this. Keep going. But can we self-reflect on that and never say that again, please, Steve?
Yes, but if I wanted to get
25%.
something that worked for Jason, I have to speak his language.
Okay, I get
He
it.
used it first.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, he called himself a retard.
Like I
25%.
said, two wrongs don't make a right. Kidding. I just don't like the word.
This is 45 minutes of setup to get his language. Then I'm going to take his language and use it against him and amplify it.
Yeah.
Because if I want to change his language into neutral language or my language, I have to educate him into other language. If the narcissist is stupid, they only think their way. That's a lot of work to socialize them to proper language. Here's another one then.
Where you lost.
Well, you're asking me to, or you're saying that I'm stupid and that I should.
No, emotionally stupid. Emotionally illiterate.
Emotionally illiterate.
Yes.
Okay, perhaps, but
Or ignorant.
See, perhaps. So he does know that he has blind spots.
I'm not
emotionally ignorant.
So I soften it. Not stupid, ignorant.
Don't think I'm dysfunctional though. That's the
No,
danger.
that makes you dysfunctional. And you're a codependent, which makes you dysfunctional.
And I was a little nicer here, but he showed signs of fragile narcissism. Because he would try to socialize Richard Grannon. So Richard Grannon is a guest speaker for our group. And then this guy wants to piggyback on Richard Grannon's answer and change it and distort it. And he's the only guy that I've had to mute in the Zoom group for 30 meetings.
If you're not a codependent, you're still fucking dysfunctional. Because if you don't know your emotions, then you're dysfunctional.
Well, I think the basis of what is considered dysfunctional is how well you're able to manage in society and in your life. And there are things that
So this is covert narcissism. They play with definitions to make him feel good. I'm trying to simplify it down, dumb it down. You have a dysfunction. I've been working with you for months of you hogging the meeting, disrupting, dissociating, time distorting. And I've been slowly trying to guide you to play nice in the group, and you don't change. This is during the after party, so it's not public. And just telling him up front, he can't handle it, so they asked to define dysfunction, redefine dysfunction.
Need to fix, but
if you can't protect your balls, you can't manage in society.
Well,
now Kurt saw that part, so he shared openly to the public group where he had his balls crushed by his ex 3 times, or the 3rd time where it bled.
Who did this guy?
This guy.
Okay.
Publicly in the group, not just publicly in the group, he would share it with new people within the first or 2 meetings.
Like she did it with her hand?
With her hands, and she was athletic. Leslie was there for that. Do you remember the ball crushing?
My hand. Never done that.
Her mouth.
All crushing.
Yeah, it happened in high school to me. My high school boyfriend. Sorry. I didn't do it with my hand. It was an accident. Anyway.
By accident, yes, but this guy seems like he kept escalating. And the girlfriend or ex-wife, whoever did the ball crushing, was wanting him to shut up. And he kept going. We have video of that, if you don't believe it.
Of the ball crushing?
Of his story, not of the actual ball crushing. Because Sarah will have to catch up, so we might need to fill in the gap.
That was
I came in on an odd conversation here. Ball crushing is all I've heard so far.
You'll catch up. We'll try to fill you in. Just try to have some patience.
That I had gone
and it's 3 times to the point of bleeding. That's pretty non-functional.
No, the 3rd time was the point of bleeding, but
yeah,
that's
pretty dysfunctional in a man's eyes.
Well, I had gone
a fellow
nearly
masculine eye.
I had gone nearly 50 years without getting into any of those situations.
His defense is that I didn't get ball crushed for 50 years, so I'm not that dysfunctional.
And the I don't know, philosophical approach that I take kind of led me to be vulnerable to that. That was something I was trying to express when Grannon was there.
Yes, he had a fucked up philosophy, but he was still arguing against Richard Grannon.
Is that this?
What?
I and I expressed to you a way long time ago about you feeling this came out of arrogance that
This is the clue. Arrogance. He admitted he has arrogance. He admitted that he can't change it. So covert narcissists will come to the group and they claim they've healed, or they claim they get stuff with no evidence. They constantly reek of this sort of hidden arrogance. Dr. Ramani, I was researching her. She claimed like she's I have clips that'll be future, so I'm not going to shit talk her too much. But,
is that the one with the bad hair in the face? Like
but she claims her expertise, and then she's being interviewed by a narcissist. Then she starts gaslighting herself instead of answering the question.
Is this the one? Is it the blonde one with the bad hair?
She's not
No,
blonde.
she's Indian.
Oh, okay. Wrong one.
But this guy has arrogance, and he admits it. That's why he can't hear anything. That's why I'm escalating to the fuck in his face, precise knives, to try to get the message across that he's harming himself because he's not humble. He can't take feedback in. We've had many sessions with him where everybody's trying to give him feedback slowly, gradually, nicely, and nothing gets through. That's why I'm doing this.
I can, whatever dysfunction somebody has, there might be something that I can do that can be helpful to.
That's the arrogance. He wants to help other people's dysfunction. He's not owning his dysfunction. That's codependence plus arrogance. That would be a clue to a fragile narcissist. He knows better for other people, but he can't see his own blind spots, lack of reflection from the earlier audio.
help them find their way. And you know, if you're loving and you're open and you're
arrogant,
real, it is arrogant. Yes, I used that word a long time ago.
And then let's see. Since this will add some context, maybe. Where is it? Or how's it fall? Am I too mean? Do you want to rescue John L?
No.
But that's the blind spot. Here it is.
Question. Richard's our expert today. You are not expert.
Here's the question: if you are,
if you're a savage,
you can't always sock the bully in the mouth.
This is fun.
You could be endangering yourself and your family.
He answered that because I said he answered that question.
The narcissists that control our whole economic system because that.
The only time I've had to mute someone.
Muted, homie.
Because you're not letting me moderate. How are you not letting me moderate? Because he answered that question. Richard said, if you have a moral philosophy that makes you vulnerable, then it's your moral philosophy that's wrong.
There's something that's happening here that's really useful for everybody who struggles with codependency, which is when we get to the core issue, which is this is a core issue. The superego kicks in.
Now this is Richard rescuing being codependent. Because Richard hasn't fixed his codependence yet.
Well, neither have we. Okay.
So I shut down.
Is this a meeting where Richard Grannon is live?
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you guys learn to communicate better, and we have a good group, I'll invite him for a second meeting.
That's our cookie? Okay.
Yes.
Is that future faking?
No, he's been away enough, and we've been trying to track his stuff, so. But I've been waiting for the new group to gel better.
He did a live with our class like 2 weeks ago. He looked pretty messed up, to tell you the truth.
Well, yeah, he's dealing with trying to get to USA and other stuff, so he's also distracted. But he describes a superego, but I was killing or trying to silence John L's fragile narcissist superego, which required me to mute because of the time constraints. If I was leading, I would have let him drag out longer. But since I'm playing moderator here, I had to do this. But then Richard sort of rescued or soothed everything.
And starts going, no, because it's the taboo. We're moving into the area that's the taboo area. So as Alex says, it's like a triggering. We've hit an internal minefield. So you jump out of heart, which is where I'm taking you to, because I'm like, be red-blooded, fight, and you go, oh, no, that sounds dangerous.
No.
Face up into head.
I didn't do anything
must be
wrong.
a way of intellectualizing my way
Let
out
me
of this.
intellectualize.
But you're right,
Let me change
because
meaning.
you're vulnerable. It makes you vulnerable. If you go into
I can't
heart
be
and you do what
vulnerable.
I'm suggesting, there's risk. There is tremendous risk.
I'm terrified.
And so if we're risk averse, that can be part of codependency. It's a risky world. It's a risky world. And we have to be courageous enough to take those risks, which takes us into the realm of Adler and all of that.
Here's a bomb.
Where Adler would say 90% of the problems people face, lack of courage. It's just a simple lack of courage.
So he soothed it over with all that. But at the end, lack of courage. And then this was the earlier argument.
I'm saying that some moral philosophies can be deceptively lure you into being vulnerable to a narcissist. And, you know, if you're trying to do...
Now, this is projection right now. He's critiquing philosophies will make you be vulnerable to a narcissist, which is his problem. His philosophy led him to get his balls crushed 3 times, but he doesn't self-reflect to see that it's his philosophy that was fucked up, where he's trying to fix everybody else's philosophy. That's transference and countertransference. Thursday's meeting.
Do good in the world and fight the demons in the way you think, maybe from a...
Do you know what good in the world is for you, or is it implanted by anemic psychotherapists?
So that's trying to break up his projection that other people. So now saying, do you know, or how do you know you're certain? That's pointing out his arrogance.
Well, no, I think you just take a lot of things in from different sources over, and then
So you just have
and go
vague
with what-
sources of the world that's telling.
And make shit up. You just pull things together based on what you feel, and you invent reality. You gaslight yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are certain things that keep coming back to you and
See,
say, yeah, that
what I'm
does
saying
sound-
doesn't even hit. It just blocks off his ego
When
narrative.
you're talking about being vulnerable to a narcissist,
So Grannon keys in on the theme. He was complaining about being vulnerable to a narcissist. Then he reframes better than me.
if the moral philosophy you're pursuing makes you vulnerable to predators, it is the wrong moral philosophy, sir.
Now, he should have stayed here. But he's a codependent, so he softens afterwards.
That's good. See, I can't do that. That was a nice.
Yeah, I got that Zen. You got to learn. You got to go to Kuala Lumpur and learn to draw the bow. You got to draw the bow, man.
See, this is a softening. He says, "Oh, my thumb." What does he do? Oh, I cut it off there. So after there, he says, like, my thumb hurt because I was doing it so many times. So he changed subjects after having the one-liner, the very good one-liner.
So can I ask a question, Deef?
Yeah.
For John's answer, because he was, I'm trying to use the word, he was like pontificating, regurgitated.
Other people's stuff.
Here's why people are attracted to or get entangled with a narcissist. If he was talking about himself, like if it was, I feel like I get entangled with narcissists because of this, and it was his philosophy,
Okay.
would that be different? That's different, right? Because what he was talking.
That would be some ownership. That would be less projection.
So his lack of ownership
Yes.
was his way of like kind of
Projecting.
Exactly. So if he did do that, but you knew the rest of him, would you base that in ego? Like, let's say everything else about him was standard, but he did reflect in that one moment. His philosophy was on himself. Would you then, like, I'm just trying to figure it out, because I feel like this is like a really common person at work, for instance, but like every once in a while they'll soften it where they'll seem human because they bring it back to like themselves, right? Or, so.
With John, we weren't able to get self-reflection.
Okay.
That's over multiple meetings. Or even, so maybe I need to find the testicle story. That'll be a good bonus for the group. But your question is about a coworker, or what exactly?
I was just trying to
link it to a coworker.
To link it, yeah, like, because you're right. This is blowing my mind. How little they're
blind. They don't self-reflect. You think that they have the capacity and they're lazy. This is a blind spot. This is a giant blind spot that can be exploited, used against them, pummeled against them. That's the killer instinct. That's why this is an advanced, scary topic, because you have to go to this place of how to take their blind spot, exploit it, use it, and try to destroy them. You don't have to do it. You have to be willing. And once they know you're willing, they're terrified. They'll run away. Then you don't need to do no contact, because they're going to be terrified of you.
In this situation, this guy is like pontificating on something, right? And you're you can kind of knock him down off that. If I have a work colleague situation, and this bitch has been on maternal leave for like 12 weeks, it's been the best time of my life, but she's coming back on November 23rd, and she is on eternal attack, right?
Okay.
So she's on attack because
She bullies you.
She has no credentials to do her job, and I don't want it, but she's like scared, so she's like attack. She's on attack, and she has she has one flying monkey who like helps her. So how can we use this against a straight up attack? Yeah, and not just like I think
That'd be straw man, advanced straw man.
Okay, what the hell is that? Is that what
So-
year? Where was that? Is that before the 23rd?
Well, that's your codependence. You want the answer now. But this is a strategy, so you have to learn the strategy, you have to integrate it, then you have to mess up a few times to make it work. But advanced straw man. So normal straw man is I take your argument, I distort it, then I throw it back at you. So I change your story and then you defend a different story. That's the way Westerners do straw man. You can look that up on YouTube, tons of
Doing what they do, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
But Chinese straw man, or art of war straw man, one side of the people ran out of arrows, so they put up a bunch of straw men on a boat. And then the enemy thought it was real people, and they shot a bunch of arrows into the straw man. So then they got a bunch of free arrows and weapons, and also exhausted the arrows of the enemy.
I don't get it.
Start a rumor about myself.
So you have to invest in loss to learn their, make them overplay, and also learn their weapons, learn their attack style. Adria's sort of getting it. It's up on your mic.
No, I'm just talking to myself. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I know what this bitch does. Like, she's definitely.
So now you know the answer, but I'm giving you the strategy that lets you put together what you already know. If I give you 5 steps based on something else, it's hard to integrate. I'm giving you the structure. You put up fake straw men. You put up fake losses, or you take losses. And when you lose, you try to learn their attack strategies, learn their strengths, learn their weapons, and then use that against them or set them up for another straw man. So you set up an attack on the side, they embarrass themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you let the police in your company catch them because you know what they're hungry for. You know their style of attack. So then you can guide them into a dangerous attack.
Mm.
See, that's sinking in. But yeah, future meetings maybe more.
Seems like a lot of work.
It's not a lot of work because Adria already knows the attacks. That's why everything was falling into play, because she already has the straw man. She's already received all the losses. But she hasn't thought about how to use that information strategically. She just wanted to get away or make it stop. Fuck that. Get even. Fight.
If you're a savage, man,
You can't always.
Void of emotion. Stone cold killer.
don't let them fucking get away with it. Don't let them fucking get away with it.
I need to be uninterfered with. I need my
You need the
freedom.
killer
I need
instinct.
to hold my
That was Act
individual
1.
space. I need to be uninterfered with. I need my freedom. I need to hold my individual space.
You got to stop listening to codependents who give you this.
Poisoning the well by suggesting that our only response is an anemic one. Poisoning the well by suggesting that
No
our
contact.
only response is
No
an anemic
contact.
one.
Grey Rock.
Poisoning the well
Be safe.
by
Be
suggesting
safe. Be
that our
scared.
only
Be a
response
wimpy.
is an anemic one. Poisoning the
Support
well
groups are going to
by
constantly
suggesting
do
that
this.
our only response is an anemic one. Poisoning the well by
You're poisoning your own well by going to support groups and listening to fragile narcissists that are saying run away is the only option. It is an option, but it's not the only option. And if you hang out with other wimps who don't know how to fight, they're going to constantly tell you, run away, be scared, have no spine. They're not going to tell you
I need
this.
to be uninterfered with.
Don't let them fucking get away with it. Don't let them fucking get away with it.
You need some defiance, man. You need some fucking
I need to be
spine. You should
uninterfered
fight.
with. I need my freedom. I need to hold my individual space.
Do you think that this is more helpful for us with new narcissists, or I guess the people that if we're still having to deal like with an ex or something for kids or whatever, but is this more for like new people we engage?
Both. It works with all. With old people, you should know their patterns, so it should be easier to integrate with old people. but they know your patterns. So that's a downside with old relationships. With new relationships, you can also apply this, but you need more research. You have to get more losses to learn their attack strategies, learn their strengths, learn their weaknesses.
This almost sounds like a game of pool where the pool hustler lets his opponent win on purpose.
Yeah, like the come from behind. Yeah.
Yeah, then he comes from behind and takes everything.
A little bit of a hustling, but let's frame it this way.
This is his power, very strong here. So I don't move here, only move here. So again, this type is that my engagement is to measure you, not to fight you. So even if I fail, I'll measure you again. Here, if I can't feel, I'll try again. But I never have in my mind I want to fight you. I'm still trying to measure where you are strong. Okay, I think he's very strong here. So I want to push there. I can push around it. Can you see?
Where is he weak? Don't fight his strength.
Now you understand? So use a very, very steady method. Don't use this method.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Back
so
and
I would
forth
rather
bullshit.
lose. So I go like this. Go. No, he's too strong, but that's okay.
That's why you have to stay in
I'm just going to
contact.
use this method to find it. Because otherwise,
You
if
have
I
to
go like this,
find
I can never do anything.
strengths and weaknesses. None of this back
This
and
is
forth
called
bullshit.
Investing in loss. I have to resist and let him beat me to feel. Exactly. You see that here? Release your foot. See, power, power. When you did that. On that spot, I moved you. And that spot is all over your body. It could be here, could be here, could be
It's somewhere. You have to find it.
Yeah. So as soon as you make a move, you don't know what we did. You push me, you see. Okay. Yeah. Can you see he lost it here? Go. Can you see everywhere? So go again. Can you see everything, right? I caught him on 3 joints. When you are strong, there is a point you have a release. When you release, that's where I catch you. And if you are very strong and you're not going to release positively, which is forward, I can release you backward. And see here. And he's very strong here. So I make an indentation here. Can you see there's a release here? Yeah. That indentation has no more.
That's sort of advanced, or maybe you sort of see it. So someone's pushing real hard. Someone has strength. You can collapse into that strong part, knocks them off balance, and then now you can guide the direction.
More power. Yeah, I'll show you slowly, okay?
So, yeah.
So you are here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when I do this, the release is on that. But I can also, if let's say I cannot do that, I can change here to cause release.
Yeah.
That change the angle. Very, very. So the release is a change. Many people call it relaxing. In reality, it's called concentrated and also called focused. So this is not
Focus,
focused.
concentration,
Touch, you see.
calm,
Not focused. But think you're seeing
integrated.
my power went into one spot, right? You see that? You understand that now? See, touch, you see. You watch, you fight me, you see. Can you see? This is called stiff. But see, look, it's very focused. Other things, the feel.
How'd that make sense? You invest in loss, and then you learn the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Often their strength is their weakness. Especially for a narcissist, they're going to attack the strongest. They're going to get the strongest reaction when you get close to something sensitive. And codependents tend to say, oh, I'm terrified, never going there. I would say, like, I'm going to remember this is really sensitive for this person. I'm going to put it in my memory bank of how can I learn more about this sensitive spot so I can poke it, guide it, use it strategically, Machiavellian-like. Oh, welcome, Ben. When did Ben show up? Where are people at?
I'm like thinking every time I poked at his hornet nest,
Okay.
it escalated into like a full-fledged World War.
Overreaction.
You know,
Yeah.
like when he said he thought he was the product of incest his whole life, and I would poke him in that area.
Poked him in the bear. Poke the bear. Yeah.
It would just escalate to the point where he'd either break things or scare the living hell out of me. Like he's going to try to kill me. You know, like, I don't like that terrorist shit. I don't like being
terrorized.
Yeah.
I feel like if we've done this in the past, from my perspective, if I've done this, the escalation, the fight is, I like that follow through where then they were like, they're coming and then there was a mechanism to hit them back. Even if we got to a place where we wounded them, like with word or fight, I don't think, personally, I'm sure I wasn't strong enough to keep going, because then like they took over, and that's what ended, like, that's every fight I was ever in, like I got creamed, right?
Well, you don't fight the same way they fight.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We didn't like even use
You're trying to fight strength against strength.
Yeah.
The Tai Chi master was fighting integration. His structure was stronger. And all you had to find was the weakness in the other person's structure. If you're fighting the other person, I would say soft tissue versus hard tissue. And this is also a little complicated, but it's natural. You already know how to do this. And I wish I had a better resolution video.
We're going to look down a little bit.
So some backstory is this. Is after my finger injury, at New Year's, I had to enforce a drunk friend, or a drunk guy who was like messing with my friend's niece, who was like 20 something, and the drunk guy was 18. And me and my friend were like 35, 40 or something. So the guy wouldn't leave, so me and my friend had to force him to leave or go back to his house. 2 against 1 should be pretty safe. Plus the guy's drunk. But the guy's drunk, so he doesn't feel as much pain. Plus he's young, 20 something. So me and my friend had to tackle him and take him down. But tackling and taking him down has consequences. So I tackled him and my head landed on some concrete section in the grass. Real photo. So I tackled him, and then I tried to like do some of these arm moves, because I've never been in a fight, but I've seen TV fights. So I tried to like wrestle to do some submission move. Didn't really work, and my friend was just punching him in the mouth. So we were still able to knock him down and whatnot, but it came at a heavy price for me and the wound, and it was humbling, because I was like, oh fuck, 2 against 1. I have my knowledge and experience, but a drunk guy is slippery. I don't feel confident defending myself. So then I researched self-defense strategies, and I came upon a strategy called reality-based self-defense. And then this is a model called the Shredder, which is based on real-life fights, not scenario fights. And the fighting is based on soft tissue damage, not punching damage, not breaking arms, not submitting, attacking places that hurt, that are easy to get. Okay. And then this is the scenario where he's gonna set up her as a target using Shredder principles against this guy, because he doesn't want to get all scratched up. But this guy who's going to be the attacker is going to have headgear to protect him. So watch what happens. This is standing up.
So just like that. Just fucking rape her. Take her down, rape her. Good.
Okay, that's standing up. So maybe that's too even. Welcome, Tony.
Thank
We
you.
can't catch you up. So, but we'll try to figure it out.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Okay, this situation is she's laying on the ground in a submissive position. Does it look like he has the advantage here?
No.
He mounted her. And he's got a face shield. And his instructions is to rape her. Who's going to win?
Whatever you want.
All the things. She is, because she knows all the things.
Because she knows to go for soft tissue damage. Knows how to trigger his fight-flight mechanism where he's going to try to self-protect. So if you learn the person's weaknesses, you can make them run away because all you have to do is attack their soft tissue, their sensitive spots. But don't do it with punching. Because that requires you to build muscles and get better and practice, become a gladiator versus gladiator. This is going against their humanity, their human weak spots. So she just grabbed soft tissue at the chest and just squeezed. You don't even need to go to the balls. She's just going to the back of the sides. And then she growls and yells at his face. If he didn't have a shield, she could bite his ears. And then bam, look, side to side position. That quick. Who's the aggressor?
Ball. I saw that.
You all right? Yeah. You okay? How you doing, Lee? This is why he's my stunt double. Next time we'll dress you like
That's
this.
just what I'm
really.
feeling too, because I mean, I know you're not fighting for real.
Yeah.
But all the growling, imagine if that
It feels real.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
a scenario.
Growling is an integral part to shredding because it's
It
psychological.
triggers his survival mechanism.
It really sends a very strong message. You growl like a fucking animal like that, you will get the person to freak out.
It works.
Can I growl?
You have survival instincts. If you stop listening to people that poison the well,
poisoning the well by
you stop listening to covert narcissists. You stop listening to fragile narcissists that say you must be safe your whole life. You're entitled to safe spaces.
Poisoning the well by suggesting that our only response.
Stop listening to wimps. Third scenario. Her on her knees. How about this?
You're down to the ground, rape her.
I tried that in the first one.
Oh, well, go start from your knees then.
Okay.
Grab her hair. No, you stand up. Grab her hair. Grab her hair. Get her to... Good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Is there anything you can do? No.
I'm trying.
Seriously, honestly.
Yeah,
You're giving it your all. It's critical to give it your all. Give it everything you've got. And then you'll understand if something works or not. Now, again, all she's doing is...
So live drills. Here's an example that's not as obvious, but this is 2 against 1 and up to 4 against 1. Go.
Hey, did you see the chick, man? Nice chick. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
How you doing?
Not bad.
What are you up to?
Not
Wanna
much.
hang out or something?
Oh yeah, where are we going?
I don't know. We could chill wherever you want.
Oh.
We could go for a beer. We could sit down at my place. I live right.
So strategic retreat. You don't instantly attack. You have to wait for an opening. You have to be patient.
Oh, you wanna come? Come, let's go.
Okay, let's
come with me. Let's go.
Third person.
Oh, So not fair.
Fight, Sherry. Come on. Fight.
4 against 1.
That's it. Pinch. Get Paul.
Look, she's behind. She's being wrestled. Or the guy's got better position. What happened?
Keep fighting. Overkill. Now take your pack. Get behind them. Make your shield. I got her. And break.
So not as ideal, but that's also realistic. More people. So you'll be outnumbered. If you're outnumbered, how are you going to survive? You go for soft tissue. If you don't think soft tissue works, then watch it happen with Mike Tyson.
Oh, and some...
Right here. Soft tissue. Holyfield's ears.
And some nasty stuff in there. There needs to be a bite almost.
He's a grown adult. He's a professional boxer. Watch him jump like a baby.
Some nasty stuff in there. There needs to be a bite almost. Holyfield is very unhappy. Look at this.
He cries to authority. My ear's been dead.
Bared his teeth at one stage in the...
Trying to rip free in an awful lot of pain.
Well, this is...
So you know where the narcissist hurts the most. You know the soft tissue. You know their sensitive spots. You have to be willing to attack it with pure survival instinct. And it's easy then. Because they're wimps. They cry. They jump even. Yeah, because it's natural.
Holyfield is very...
You protect your private parts. Or is it...
Nasty stuff in there. There needs to be a bite almost.
It's a hard sell for codependence, yes. So people agree, disagree, don't get it. Okay, how about this?
I switch my mode into something else, right? For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time, right? So that was my mental switch. It was like an actor getting ready for a film. You got to put yourself in that cage. When you're in that cage, you are that character. And then when you leave there, it's something completely different. But when I'm in that cage, bro, don't fucking touch me. Don't talk to me. I used to play the Halloween theme song over and over and over in my headphones. And it was important that it was Michael Myers because the mask itself was void of emotion. Void of emotion. It has nothing to do with pressure, has nothing to do with hype, has nothing to do with camaraderie. It's stone cold killer. And I would listen to that song over and over and over to get, that's when you know you better run, because
that's what a lot of people did.
Yeah, it's
probably coming out. You know,
it's gonna be a tough night.
Story.
Yeah.
This is a song you would play on repeat before a game to get into that mindset. Because you guys underestimate the narcissist attack. So they are scary because they use intimidation. But it's based on inferiority.
I deal with a huge inferiority complex. As a little boy, I was fat and everybody picked on me. So now I never back down from a fight. So when people, a person could say some infantile thing like "you're stupid" or "you got your ass kicked in a fight," and I will strike them. I'm not somebody that will walk away from a street fight. I would provoke a fight with them. I won't start one, but I won't walk away from one either. In a fight in the streets, not like the ring, it has to be almost to the death because you never know. If you don't knock them out cold or you don't beat them half to death, he'll go home and come back with a gun or come back with a friend with a gun or a gang of people. So normally a fight in the street is normally deadly.
So we worship bullies in America, but bullies in America, most of the bullies we worship, they have inferiority complexes, which he admits here. And Trump also has an inferiority complex because they win constantly because they run away from losses and they have to put up a fake front, or they have to own this super bullying. So they take all their childhood bullying and losses and then project it outward. They're taking that pain and they're trying to project it on you, which is sort of Sam Backman owning it.
To abuse. They need to abuse because it's the only way they can export the pain. Think about it like a country. A country has to export agricultural surplus. Narcissists have excess trauma and excess pain. They export it.
Yeah.
Simple. And they always will export it. Need to be a containing environment.
So they're exporting their pain. That's why they get supply, and their supply that's good is if they can export their pain onto you, make you a victim, make you a loser, so they get better supply. That's the enemy you're dealing with. But they have soft tissue. So if you get into the killer mindset,
Void of emotion, stone cold killer. Void of emotion, stone cold killer. Void of emotion, stone cold killer.
own reality, or you recognize that it's life or death. Stop trying to pretend that it's something else. What's another one? Oh, here it is. So this guy,
they crack the doors.
Do they make you wake up?
Oh, well, you gotta you get up. I mean, that's just
stop. This guy was in federal prison for 10 years, but he got out and now he's smart and he has a YouTube channel. But he describes the real paranoia and real hypervigilance versus fragile narcissists who are hyper vigilant over bullshit. This guy is giving you a feel of what real paranoia should be.
Military type, you don't be sleeping in the bed and somebody come in there running on you. You always got to be prepared. You never know who's lurking in the cuts to try to do something to you. So you always get up when the doors crack. You never laying down in the bed with the doors open unless you got somebody watching, looking out for you, because somebody can run up in a cell and stab you in your sleep.
Yeah.
So whenever the doors are open, you never are just sleeping without anybody like looking out for you.
Okay.
You know?
Split somebody's wig. Did you ever have to do that?
No, I slapped a dude before, but didn't really have to split nobody's wig. You know, a couple of dudes lip service, but
That's
they weren't trying to really
up.
come in a cell. You know, most people don't want to come in a cell because it's limited space, and then they can't really can't really jump you in a cell. And not major altercations where I had to go and stick somebody.
Did you ever witness that?
Oh yeah, I've seen people get stuck before. You just keep walking. You don't stop. You can't acknowledge it because you become a suspect, and then you're not supposed to ever acknowledge or admit to the police that you've seen anything, because if you become suspect of telling, then you could be the next victim.
They made
there's people that
homemade
sell
knife?
knives. There's people that sell knives in there that have access. I mean, I had access to whatever I wanted. There's guys in there. He's like, hey, if you ever need something, just come holler at me. There's people that they have stash spots and they have knives made out of all kind of things. I've seen a knife this long that was like made out of plastic, and it was pointed. It looked almost like a rhinoceros horn, but it came down to a point where I could plunge it in you and just pull it right out, and you would never know.
Wow.
And as far as rehabilitation, you got to rehabilitate yourself. Every day I tried to figure out what it was that got
of how to get out of prison and make a life out of yourself. You got to have a mindset. Similar mindset if you want to get out of slave mindset of codependence. You want to stop being the slave.
We want to be the best slave that master has ever had. We
You genuinely want to stop being a slave.
That master has
You've got
ever
to have
had.
similar
We want to be the
mindset
best slave
as this.
Got me there. You know what I mean? I wasn't stupid. I was very book smart, and I just made a lot of bad choices because of just how I looked at things. So I had to figure out how did I get to that point and reverse that. And
That's looking at your map of reality. How is your map of reality fucked up? What choices did you make wrong? What belief system are you projecting on the world saying it should be utopia? People should play nice, whatever bullshit. What hasn't worked for you? Even though I smacked down Jason and John L., I was trying to fix their map of reality. That was the argument, to get them to wake up so that they can have a better map of reality. Until they can own up that their map sucks, they're going to make the same fucked up choices.
took me, I just kept working on myself. But a lot of people don't want to work on themselves. They want to blame the government. Oh man, the police, man, or oh man, my mom, my dad wasn't around, or blah blah blah, or this and that. And you can't play the blame game. If
or
you
the
want
teacher,
to rehabilitate yourself,
or
you have to take responsibility,
or the YouTube
man
expert,
up and basically say, you know what, I'm gonna make a change for the better, and I'm gonna stop making stupid decisions, and I'm not gonna hang around these dummies.
Wimps, losers, or
poisoning
people
the well
who do this
by suggesting that our only response is an anemic one. Poisoning the well by suggesting that our only
you can't
response
do
is an
anything.
anemic one.
You must
Poisoning the
run.
well by
It's only no
suggesting that
contact.
our only response is an
It's
anemic
only grey
one.
rock.
Poisoning the well by suggesting
It's
that
only
our only
medication.
response is an anemic
Numb your
one.
emotions.
Poisoning the well by suggesting that our only response is an anemic
Finally, we
one.
have
Poisoning
Allison.
the well by
She missed all the good stuff. Okay, where are people at?
Deef, I have a question.
Dan, yes.
So this is all very strange to me, but I guess I worry about, can I turn this on and then turn it off? I mean, can I be a cold-hearted killer and then not?
Okay,
Does that affect me?
This part?
Void of emotion. Stone cold killer. Void of emotion. Stone.
Yeah. You're scared if you turn it on, you will become
Well, it doesn't
something.
fit with the identity of who I am.
I don't know. I mean, with respect to my mom, somebody called me the other day, or wrote me, I wouldn't let her call me, talking about how, oh, my mom's seeing spirits and saying that such and such is happening to her. And I was like, look, lady, let me tell you something. She's gonna do and be how she is. You need to just get yourself away from it, because she's gonna come and try to, what's the word? Abuse you. Right.
Abuse.
But I was surprised, actually, as I was advising this woman quickly, I don't have time for you, but quickly, hey, you might want to take yourself out of the way because she's probably gonna call the cops on you. That I actually didn't I feel like my advice was stone cold. I didn't think I was talking about my mom. I was talking about a lady who will call the cops on you. So you could do it. You do what you got to do, and you don't have to be nice. Nice is useless for the most part.
Now, Dan, do you have any kids?
Yeah, I got 3.
So if somebody was messing with your kids,
yeah,
would you be able to cross your identity and
Yeah,
change roles and do something
I'd go apeshit crazy.
evil?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, martial arts isn't about being apeshit crazy. It's about controlling those impulses of apeshit crazy precisely and strategically, and withholding that skill. So sort of Peterson talks about here. So you have to own your dark side. You have it in you, but you have to train it. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, I've watched Deef do these videos, I'm just going to channel it and own it. You're going to have to integrate it.
Unless you can think the way that an evil person thinks, then you're defenseless against them. because they'll go places you can't imagine and then they win. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. The meek shall inherit the earth. And I found out that the word meek, it's the translation of a word that meant something more like those who have swords and know how to use them but keep them sheathed. I thought, oh yes, that's exactly it. The world, those who have swords and know how to use them but choose to keep them sheathed will inherit the world. It's like, yes, exactly right.
So you have to recognize you have a sword, but you have to learn how to use it. That's your danger part. That's your batshit crazy part. And then you have to become a better person where you just don't, where you use it, but you sheathe it. You don't just destroy people constantly. The examples I gave were gradual against Jason and Janelle or Susan, for anybody who was part of that meeting. They're gradual escalations of the sword, and by the time you see it, then you see the sword and you're scared of me and you try to rescue the person I'm destroying. But it was an escalation point where they kept not honoring the group. And I need to get better at more nuanced swords destroying people. But then you guys don't see it. So in the past it was more obvious and more entertaining, so you see it. But now I'm doing it more gradually and nuanced, so you guys don't see it. So then it's not entertaining. Or I just let things drag out longer. Then you guys complain like, oh, it's so dissociating, I'm going to shut down, because I'm giving space instead of just the hammer.
It really makes me want to go back to martial arts. If I, I just want to do martial arts.
That's what Brandon's done. That's what I've done. It builds your skill of concentration. Even Kobe Bryant does it. So I researched.
Did it?
He did it with Lakers.
I bought into the meditation. I bought into the deeper connection that exists within the game. And so when you watch our teams, or you watch any of Phil's teams, or Chicago teams, Game 6 against Utah, you watch our games, Game 7 against Boston, we were never rattled, ever. Because we're always in the moment, always in the present, always extremely calm, always looking at the reality of the situation and not letting our emotions cloud our execution. And that comes from being in that meditative state that he would teach and preach from day one. He was very hands-off, right? In the sense of he allowed players to develop. He would allow you to find your truth and then go after it. And he was there to simply guide you along that journey. But he's very observant.
So that's the same thing Brandon's trying to teach with what
you still the breathing. You listen. You still the breathing. You listen, observing your thoughts. You're not being your thoughts, observing your thoughts. You're not being your thoughts, observing your thoughts. Not fighting with it. You let it come, you let it go. Not fighting with it. You let it come.
So Brandon's done martial arts. I've done some Tai Chi, but my anchor is meditation. So I got 10 years down, 5,000 hours. And that's just through rote practice.
For 2
practice
summers.
Of focusing.
I won the judo award in 1986.
So.
Oh, see, Adria has judo experience. So that's why she's able to integrate stuff more.
All right.
Is there more interpersonal examples that you can show us and give us that aren't fighting? Like, I don't know. I understand this logic. What I'm trying to do is be like, okay, so with that person, for instance, or that person, how can I put this into reality? And where I'm going in my head is like this, like long drawn out thing where it's like, oh yeah, I know that this irks them. So if I come from over here and irk them back, and then they fall on their irk, well, I win. I know I don't have to interact anymore, right? But I just wanted, do we have examples?
Well, part of the theme and this is another tactic. So poisoning the well is used negatively, or is doing it this way.
Poisoning the well by suggesting that our only response is an anemic one. Poisoning the well.
So you're wasting your skill of poisoning the well by diluting your information. But you can also use the same tactic, same strategy. I like to call souring the supply.
Yep.
Act 3's done.
So how do you sour the supply?
So if someone's bothering you, or someone is in your way, if you sour the supply, you or whatever they're trying to get, then they go somewhere else. So if you find the other person's goal, find what they like, what their supply is, you can sour, distort, taint their supply to make them go another direction or to get away from you.
Perfect. I feel like girls do this a lot.
Yes, girls probably are much better
Women,
than guys.
not girls.
We
Women.
would want to fight, but
time.
girls would.
Oh, if you don't like me because you think I'm competing with you for that guy with a crush on who's looking at me, I could give a shit. But to get you away from me, I'm going to be like, by the way, my boyfriend, who doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden this girl like leaves you alone. Oldest trick in the book.
If you want to get someone, instead of no contact and running away, make them leave. Why is that not on the table for codependence?
Well, I'm codependent and I'm able to do it to females.
Yeah, you can do it with a narcissist.
Yeah, I told my mom the CIA is tracking my phone. So.
Oh, that's triggering paranoia. That's really clever.
We talked about that last week. We were like, tell her that they called you
last week, and I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Oh my God, they're calling my friends now about you.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's actually very clever. So you know they're paranoid and hypervigilant. So if you just own how you're being watched and you're dangerous or you're scared, you're triggering their paranoia, souring supply. Very clever. Okay, we're running out of time.
Gaslighting them though, in the opposite way. If you weren't careful, right? Like, yeah. So the narcissist that thinks they're really great at their job, but like refuses to show any visual appraisal of such. So there's no KPIs to look at. There's nothing, but like, you're so great at your job. What if you came to a meeting and had a bunch of your own stuff that was like, if only I had that stuff from that other guy who didn't give me anything, this would be so much better for you all, to make him look like a total shitheel. That would be gaslighting, but also really strategic. I don't have the balls to do that, but I would like to
think about it.
Is that kind of what you're saying? I can make them fall on their face because their Achilles heel is not being able to provide in that manner, but they think that they're so great. They would leave you alone because you just made them fall on your face, or would they target you?
The first two examples where Jason and John L., they're blind to self-reflection. So as long as you don't put yourself straight in their face, they don't know who did it. They're stupid.
Got it.
If you want to really be brave, you can try to do stuff right next to them and say you're doing it, but don't do it directly, to just see how blind they are. Somebody needs to do that investigation. But I would argue that you could almost punch them in their face and they still don't know.
That's how I left
need to hide it.
I watched YouTube videos in his face, and he said,
Didn't get it. Didn't
you
piece
think
it together.
you
Yep.
are not. And then when I left, he was like, "Where are you going?" Or when I made him leave. Yeah, they don't get it. They don't know.
They're blind to that because they're super focused on the supply. You as a supply, when you're good supply, they're hyper-focused. They're hypersensitive. They're hyper-fast. Everything else is out of their awareness. They don't see it. So if you just use any sort of indirect attack, they don't get it. They're not going to track it to you. souring supply. If you want to get rid of them, they're not going to piece it together. Even if they piece it together, that was Jason. He was having trouble piecing it together to make sense of me because he couldn't own somebody else was playing a higher level game. That's too much of an injury, too much of a narcissist injury, so they can't conceive it. There's no danger. They're only good at one thing, as long as you get out of the way for their one super strong attack.
Yeah.
There's no threat. Other
I have to
confusions?
withdraw. When I encounter them, my best strategy is withdrawing. Just I have to withdraw. That's the only thing that works for me.
If it works, go
They
for
put
it.
a narcissist in the cubicle right opposite me 2 months ago. I got a vibe. I didn't know what it was. Then I observed this person talking on the phone in French, sotto voce, to his girlfriends. And I'm observing this and I'm thinking, this is not my business, put my headphones on. He just came to work. Apparently he has a wife, and in the front office he went up there, and the guy that works up there said, I didn't say anything to anyone. He said, I had to take phone calls from his other 2 girlfriends. So I'm putting all these pieces together, and then he says to a guy at work in front of me, I was standing there, he says, Mike, how come she talks to everybody except me? And I'm thinking, bitch, I'm standing here right fucking in front of you, and you're saying this to Mike about me indirectly. Okay, observed, noted. I would have. Then he says to me 2 weeks ago, he finally said something. I was working, and he's having a conversation in 2 feet away from me with this guy called Rodney. And he said, isn't that right? And I looked at him, I said, look, sir, I said, I'm not listening, I'm working here. So that was the narcissistic injury. He stopped talking to me, ignored me the next day because he perceived that I had insulted him. And I realized this is a fucking narcissist. The rules don't apply to him. This is somebody who became an officer in the United States Army from being enlisted because he wanted people to serve him because he felt special. And I said to myself, fuck, I can never get away from these fucking narcissists. They're everywhere. They're all around me.
Yes, they're everywhere.
So I just have to withdraw. And he ignored me. He's ignored me for 2 weeks. I was like, this is like narcissistic injury. This is so blatant. It was crazy. Why didn't you fuck with him? I would have No, but why? What does that get me? It gets me. I don't have time. I'm 50 to freaking compete with some bitch. Okay, that I want to smack. No, because that's not helping me. Because
listen to Kobe.
Recognizing my emotions.
You get mentally and emotionally so strong where it doesn't bother you.
Well, you got to look at the reality of the situation. Like for me, it's not, you kind of got to get over yourself. Like, it's not about you, man. Like, okay, you feel embarrassed. You're not that important. Like, get over yourself.
That's where you go.
Get over yourself, right? Like, you're worried about how people may perceive you, and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself, right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen?
That's today's theme. And Allison, you missed the first part, so
sorry,
watch your recording. But you have to develop a mindset, a muscle of strategic thinking. Instead of focusing on the 5 air balls, you have to make sense of why you fucked up or why you got triggered.
What's an air ball?
Basketball.
That didn't make the basket.
It doesn't make the basket, and it's like way far. It's very, very embarrassing. He explains a little bit.
Got it. High school, year before, we played 35 games, max, right? Week in between, spaced out, plenty of time to rest. In the NBA, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I didn't have the legs. So you look at the shot, every shot was online. Every shot was online.
So every shot he made at the end was direct line, but because the season was longer and he didn't have the stamina.
But every shot was short. Right? I got to get stronger. I got to train differently. The weight training program that I'm doing, I got to tailor it for an 82-game season so that when the playoffs come around, my legs are stronger and that ball gets there. So I look at it with rationale. and say, okay, well, the reason why I shot airballs is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there. That was it. Done.
Resilient. Yeah.
So if you're a codependent and you're listening to fragile narcissists who have thinner skin than you, they're not going to tell you to get a thicker skin. So some of these wounds are just you're too sensitive. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Now, also, if the wounds are triggering your unconscious stuff, go heal yourself. Work on yourself.
Yeah.
If you're too sensitive, you're being triggered and going to flashbacks. Work on your flashback.
Yeah.
Don't listen to a fragile narcissist expert who says, you deserve a safe world where there's no narcissists, no triggers. You just have to demand safe spaces. It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. They're everywhere.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to sell the dream.
No.
You can go to other groups, get the dream. Lots of people are going to say that you deserve safety. You did nothing wrong.
But you just got to recognize it and don't engage. You know? Don't
That's
engage.
the mindset.
That's me. I don't engage. I saw it. I don't engage. I withdraw. I tried to engage me numerous times. I have no time for it. I see it for what it is. I'm civil. Good morning. That's enough. Then he stopped saying good morning because he perceived narcissistic injury. No problem. Don't own the baggage. His baggage, not mine. Yeah, here's the thing.
You stole the breathing. You listen. You stole the breathing. You listen. You stole the breathing.
Right? Like, I'm not going to, I'm not a dick to everybody because they have some, whatever. But I'm certainly not going to throw my romantic energy at anybody. And it's different when there's a negative work situation or whatever, right? But just because someone has 5 girlfriends or whatever and is married, it doesn't affect me. I don't care. I'm not in his marriage. I don't care. Do I think he's in his integrity? No. But am I not going to talk to him as a result of it? No. And I'm not going to be a dick to him because of it. Unless he brings it up to me and wants to talk about it, then I'm going to be like, cool, I don't want to hear about this, right? So I see what you're saying, but I feel like some of this, I'm just going to avoid everybody who's a narcissist isn't the way to go.
Is this
whatever works for you? It's not avoid, it's just don't engage.
Okay.
Then you don't build up any muscle to deal with them, right? No, that is my muscle. I have no time for it. I mean, I've dismissed him. He doesn't exist in my world. I don't have to engage with him. I don't have.
Oh no. What happened?
Bad interwebs.
We're out of retrograde. I have to actually engage with this person.
Slow down. That was Thursday. So Thursday.
Other than to say, good morning, he's working, thank God.
Just don't put stuff out there. Just don't put stuff out there.
Every situation is different. You got to do the work you do.
Just don't put stuff out there. Just don't put stuff out there. Just don't put stuff out there. Just
don't feed the shark. I would say, for me, don't feed the shark.
Stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I'll stay.
Give yourself some space. Stay out of other people's space. Answers will magically come. There's no fucking emergence. You're reliving a flashback. It's exciting. It's dramatic. You want to talk it out. But nothing's really happening. Other takeaways and wrap up. New people. Did we terrify you? Did it make any sense? Was it helpful?
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. If we're going to have to deal with narcissists our whole lives, we need to deal with it versus backing off into putting your head under a rock. You're going to have to face it front on and confront it and live, to talk about it, I guess.
Face it. If you don't live, at least you can live with yourself.
Right. Versus backing off and retreating into a hole. I see what you're saying. I see the purpose of the meeting.
See?
Find their sore spot.
And you're living it.
There you go. There's your retribution.
I agree also. I do think that there are some times when no contact is useful, but I don't think it is useful after this conversation. I don't think that, like, I've reduced the number of circumstances in which I think it's useful. So that's been helpful.
Yeah.
I'd rather work on, work on a way or stay in an energy that is so far more like a more masculine energy or a high-powered feminine energy that if that is going to come at me, it's going to fall flat on its face. The guy who's married who wants me to restart his car, the minute that he goes there, I'm going to be like, cool, do you want me to call your wife? Like, it's not going to happen anymore. Like, I've had it. So people, it's just a different, I feel like instead of, oh God, like, I don't want to get, and then having a conversation with somebody who upset you, it's more like, look, that's beneath me. Your energy is beneath me. I don't want to share your energy, right? Or something like that.
If you have the mindset, you have the energy that you're willing to face, or you have a sword, the people back down. You won't even have the experience, but you got to be able to tolerate pressure because they're feeling you out. So Holyfield had a nice pointer from his mom.
Things that my mama said. She said, let me tell you when you know how good you are. She said, Mike love to press other people, but can he handle the press? My mama said, do it back to him. Do it back. If you want to see somebody stop doing something to you, do it to them. All of a sudden, they'll stop. We practice just putting pressure. Make him feel the same way that he make other people feel.
You need some of my viciousness in your life. It will make things better. Some people need to be headbutted. I find it quite satisfying. A good strong headbutt in the face. That shut you up, didn't it? Twat. Oh, you're crying now. Where's the tough guy who was here before, threatening me and my girlfriend? Oh, he's lying on the floor. His head doesn't work so well. Funny that. It's like I said to you about violence. People come to me with a hypothesis. And they're saying, I hypothesized that I could beat you in a fight. And I say, that's an interesting hypothesis. Let's be scientists and test it. Oh, look, you're bleeding.
This guy is always, he's like...
Not so clever now, are you, sir?
You have to own your strength.
Yeah.
So we'll end with this.
Engage? That's reptile.
So
we'll end with
That's
this.
reptile brain.
We'll end with this part, and then we'll see. Then I'll stop the recording.
Fuck them in the eye. What are they doing? They're spreading hate. They're poisoning your comment section. They've proven that they're cunts by their cunt words. So cunt them off in the cunt. Cunts.
Dick.